My Granny's Cookies, my little cookie company, birthed from that. SCORE is Service Corps of Retired Entrepreneurs, and there's CEOs that mentor people to have their successful business. And then years ago, I was so curious about yoga. I just knew it was the pathway to health insurance and keeping me really healthy. And I've gotten to where now I absolutely crave my yoga class and my meditation and my time to be quiet and think. And out of that quiet time and thinking is what created and resulted in my 2 first published books. I want to challenge you all, encourage you to be aware of how you're using technology and if it's using you, and if you have kids. And I encourage everyone to take advantage of some of those non-technology activities. We need to disconnect so that we can connect as humans. Hold on. Boom, drop the phone, folks, and join the world.
Wow. That's going to be a journey. We are so connected that the thought of not having a phone scares most kids.
Bobby, don't go too far.
Don't go too far.
Yeah, you get your feedback, so get back up there.
Get back up
Okay,
here.
I'm gonna
Do I have to
moderate.
stand
Why
up?
don't you come up here and stand with
Okay.
me? We're gonna have a little. This is where they.
Yeah, I know.
This is where they lambaste you.
Would anybody like to start with a kind suggestion on how Bobby can, or what they felt about Bobby's talk tonight, what they'd like to suggest, because we're all here to help each other grow. That's our purpose. So I say leave with a kind suggestion. Let's start off with some kindness. Bobby deserves
Yeah,
it.
because if it ain't, I'm out the door.
No, she's tougher than that. She's from Texas.
Yeah.
Who wants to start? I will start picking people.
I'll start.
I must
Thank
have
you.
done okay.
Okay. Oh, no.
Teasing, I'm teasing.
Okay.
Bobby, I loved all of your facts behind what you were talking about. They really did back up your message. But I think more personal story behind that too. And when you've experienced, what was it, the thumbing? When we've experienced all this noise leveling, I think that would have really driven it home. If you had just put in a little bit more personal story. You got the personal story at the end.
Yeah.
That was really good. So I think you could add a little more.
Yes.
I felt like you did a really great job with your facts, examples, statistics, all that stuff was great. And I think the one part that was a little bit disconnected, I know you have a very strong opinion about disconnecting and leaving ditching the phone, not putting it by, phones and sleep don't mix. And I think there are parts of me in my mind where I'm like, that's a good point, but I don't necessarily agree. And the way my mind perceived when you were talking about it is you gave the statistics and a lot of great information to back it up. You have your opinion, but when you stated your opinion, it didn't quite bring along the facts with it. There's a little bit of a disconnect. So when you stated your opinion, it was almost like a fact, but then I'm like, that's not a fact because I disagree with it, which is okay. So I want to see that bridge between taking those facts and bridging it to your point. Yeah, and I think that would be awesome. Yeah.
Hi, Bobby. You did a great job. You have a great presence in front of the room. You have, your personality comes through and sparkles, and that was great. Really well done, and great projection and all that good stuff. My good facts and all that too. My only thing is, it's so important to have rapport with the room, and if you don't establish that connection and get that rapport, it can create a disconnect between you and your audience. And I felt that was one area that you could work on. There was a little bit, there are certain words that when we use them create a disconnect. Things like, well, everyone, or people, or, because everyone doesn't do anything. Everyone, or always, or this, there's a name for that kind of a word, and I can't remember what it is right now, but, so there was a couple of times when you were saying stuff, and I was like, well, I get your heart, I get exactly where you are with all of this, and I really felt that and appreciated that, but there were a couple of times when I was like, well, I don't do that. No, but you were saying, well, everybody does, and so I kind of felt like you made your audience a little bit of the enemy, which can be, you lose rapport, and rapport is so important, so I would just work on that. Other than that, I thought it was fabulous, fabulous.
Christopher?
One of the biggest things that, when it comes to speaking, I always feel that the person engaged, and when I leave the room, that they talk with me or at me. And just building on what was said there, I looked at the response of the room. I noticed that when they said, did anyone want to say something, everyone clung on to their seats because they were afraid to. Why? Because you didn't engage. So you talk at them instead of with them. And you have excellent speaking skills, there's no doubt. I mean, you're able to project, you have great verbiage, there's so many great skills that you have, but do you connect? I mean, you work very hard, there's no question. I really love the way that you speak, but you don't encompass my heart. And that's where I feel like, oh man, would I go and see you again? The answer is no. Because you just don't catch my heart. Because I'm sorry, Bobby, I love you to death, because, but I just.
Well, I've had people say the opposite, so I'm good with
Yeah,
it.
no, please.
But I appreciate it.
Yeah, I wouldn't, you asked me for my opinion, right? And I'm telling you this for a reason, because you are a great speaker. I'm just saying to you that I would love you to think about how can you, Lionel said something when he's up there, and it's the why. And that's for you. If you could, like with the Youth Motivational Task Force, I've been with you. And if you just find that little nugget, you could be incredible. You could absolutely be incredible because you are a good speaker. So take what I say from a different viewpoint, and you've got it made.
So what Chris is saying is that when you find that edge, that thing that makes you unique and that keeps you excited, you're going to be incredible, even more than you are. That's what it means.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay, William?
I think his point, I'm not sure the gentleman's name, talking about the disconnect between the point, like the facts, statistics, and then your point, right? I think one thing that would help you is that instead of just having all these general anecdotes, come up with like real life stories about a specific person or a specific group that impacted you. And therefore, you persuade us to disconnect in order to connect. I think one part of speaking, what I learned is that you want a variety of examples and a variety of ways to engage the audience. And I think that part was missing.
Well, thank you.
I don't belong to this group. I have.
It's too late, you're here.
We're glad you're here.
I am only here because I have a key. But what I so enjoy is your past performances and your joy. And when you first walked in, I'm going, I know this is a speaker because you dressed for the part. Now there's a little opportunity that I saw that you could have had the audience laughing with you. You could have, when you said the people were doing their yoga and looking at their phones, you're dressed beautifully. I mean, you've got this gorgeous body. I'm so jealous. You could have got down to the point where you're in a yoga position and just demonstrated how your divided attention to your phone was interrupting your speech. And I think then the audience would have embraced the situation more than you just telling, and then what happened? Your audience wants to hear, and then what happened? You don't have to guide them there. you are fabulous.
Thank you, Mary.
You're beautiful.
Oh,
You're
thanks.
dressed gorgeous. Play it up. Make a fool out of yourself. That way we can enjoy.
For the
it.
record, I'm wearing shorts because it's 100 degrees in my house. So, normally I wear a
No,
dress.
you're wearing shorts because it's appropriate for this
Wow,
speech.
thanks, Mary. No, it's it's hard right now because it's so hot.
You're perfect. You are absolutely
Thanks, Mary.
perfect.
Appreciate the feedback.
I really appreciated your enthusiasm, your excitement, your passion for the topic. And I agree with a lot of the other feedback. And as I heard you speak, I heard a lot of stuff that I've read and heard, and I felt like there was a lot of embellishment on the use of the phones and the distraction of it. And I think what might have given it more impact is to show what happens to us as a culture, as a society when we do this. For example, at work, if we're at cubicles not communicating, does that hurt productivity? Employee engagement is at all-time lows at work. Does it impact that? If you say we're not communicating and we don't have a sense of community, what does that do to mental health?
Yep.
What does that do to stress? What does that do to anger because people don't feel like they're heard or they don't feel like they're understood? So some of those impacts I think could really underscore why we should care about this, because frankly, I hear about this all the time and I agree with you. I don't see it as an absolute thing, and I wanted a little more persuasion. Good job.
Okay, I'm going to wrap up with a little bit. I so appreciate you, Bobby, for being here and speaking. I agree with you on the fact that we use our phones too much. I have 5 sons, and when I took one of their phones, one of them I took his phone away because he wasn't behaving. He actually called Child Protective Services, and a sheriff came up and had a talk with me. And what he said is, that kid needs his ass kicked.
That's what I would have
But
said.
you can't do it. I said, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
So I'm fully with you.
Yeah.
On the other hand,
Yeah.
I work with a lot of kids that grew up with a cell phone as a baby rattler. And you're not going to pry it out of their hands by telling them how bad it is, no matter how bad you think it is. You need to meet them somewhere on their level. And that's that part about building rapport. I really believe that you can do that. And because you came across, like a couple people said,
Yeah.
a little angry. And I fully am with you on it. But you're not gonna attract bees with vinegar. So just consider that you want to engage with people who are tied to that phone and treat it like it's an important object to them too. So you can let them know that, okay, I know how important this is, but here's what you're doing to yourself. Like they're little alcoholics with their phone in their hands.
That's
you know?
exactly right.
And but you got to meet them on their
Yeah.
level. Or they're not gonna bite. Thank you so much.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you for your input. Our next speaker.
Thank you. Good to see you.
I did a little research. Oh,
Please remember to fill the forms.
Oh, do we have the
feedback
forms?
from the
Does
speakers?
everybody have a phone?
If you don't, I have it, you express. I'll get them to you.
In doing a little research, personally, I don't watch TV, so I didn't really know who this next speaker is. I've heard of American Idol. You've all heard of that. I've never actually really watched it. Have you never heard of it, Mary?
Yes,
Okay, so don't. Okay.
I have heard of it. I don't have
Thank you.
TV either.
Thank you. Yeah, I just don't have time for that. But the message that William has here, I'm gonna read his bio, but really listen closely. When I did my homework researching this, I was touched. I was changed by the story just in doing my research. We are going to be overjoyed by listening to him speak here in person. People who succeed in professional speaking and in sales have one thing in common. They know how to put themselves out there. That's what we're learning to do as speakers, correct? Tonight our speaker was a former American Idol contestant who achieved accidental fame despite not making it to Hollywood. Yet he was able to find success working in the entertainment industry. How did he do it? To talk about how you can change from obscurity to prosperity, please welcome William Pong.
you are standing on stage and you are one audition away from changing your life forever. And you don't need to get through that many people. You only need to persuade 3 people to let you through Hollywood.
Right.
How hard can that be?
How tough is it?
Fellow Toastmasters and guests, that moment was the moment that I will never forget in my life. But how do I even get to that moment? People constantly ask me, why did you audition for American Idol? Well, when I was growing up, I was getting good grades in middle school and high school. Then I got accepted into UC Berkeley to study for civil engineering. However, it didn't take long for me to get my first D in my life. What should I do? Should I switch majors? Should I drop out of school? Is there another option? One day, I saw a poster for a school talent show at the Clark Kerr dormitories. I figured, why not? There's nothing to lose, and I sang one of my favorite songs, She Bangs, by Ricky Martin. I had no expectations, but to my great surprise, I won! The grand prize was a DVD player. That gave me the confidence to try out for American Idol. When the auditions came around in San Francisco, I knew I wanted to try out, but I couldn't tell anyone, especially my Asian parents. Could you guess why? What did you think my Asian parents want me to be?
Engineer.
Engineer.
Just like my Asian parents.
An engineer, a doctor, anything but an entertainer.
Right.
Fortunately, for my case, the solution was simple. Shh. Don't tell them. Don't tell my parents. Don't let them know.
That worked well.
I secretly went to audition for American Idol, and I was standing in line among 3,000 other contestants at a huge baseball park. As I was standing in line, I saw hundreds of people how they only got 15 to 30 seconds to sing before they were told to go home. In my mind, I thought I had no chance, but somehow they let me sing over a minute and they let me through. They gave me an orange ticket and told me to come back the next day. The next day, I auditioned in front of producers and they let me through again. And then I realized there's only about 100 people left that had a chance to see Randy, Paula, and Simon. Now, you might have witnessed my experience from the comfort of your own living room, whether it's on TV or the internet. The 3 judges were aptly named Randy Jackson, the cool guy, Paula Abdul, the nice lady, and Simon Cowell, the mean guy. As soon as I began my audition, Randy had a white sheet of paper to cover his face and giggled throughout the entire audition, like Michael is doing over there. Paula was smiling and enjoying herself, but Simon was frowning. I kept trying to entertain them. She bangs! She bangs! Woo! Oh baby, but she moves! She moves! I go crazy! But Simon stopped me at the middle of my chorus and said, thank you, thank you. You can't sing, you can't dance, so what are you going to say? I already gave my best. I have no regrets at all. Paula said, good for you. This is the best attitude yet. I said I had no professional training. And Simon goes, now this is the surprise of the century. Seriously though, I wasn't too upset about the audition. I just thought that was the end of the road and my life would return to normal. Suddenly, 4 months later, I saw myself on TV again. Right after the night Fox broadcasted my audition, I got over 150 emails for TV and performance opportunities. Unfortunately, on that same night, I was verbally assassinated by the media worldwide.
Oh, yeah.
William Hung is the worst singer ever. William Hung portrays the biggest Asian stereotypes. Go back to school. Rumors, ridicule, rejection. If the whole world wants to make you feel like a loser, what would you do? I decided to seek advice from one of my pastors from Bible studies. He said to me, William, it's okay. Let the notoriety die down and finish school. Don't make things worse. I don't know if I should listen to him. Then one of my friends from Berkeley, he noticed some crazy things happening. He told me, William, do you realize that your bobblehead dolls are on sale? Your t-shirts are on sale on eBay, and WilliamHung.com is already taken. I don't know what to do. Should I worry about the shame, or should I think about the potential opportunity that's right in front of me? After doing some performances and interviews, I was invited to perform at a UC Berkeley's men's volleyball game. She bangs! She bangs! Oh baby, when she moves! I go crazy cause she looks like a flower, but she stings like a bee, like every girl in history. After I finished my performance, one of the executives from Koch Records briskly walked up to me and gave me a $25,000 check for a record contract. Wow. Could you believe it?
I love it.
Now I know what you're thinking. How hard can this be? Take the money, fool! But for me, it wasn't easy at all. You see, I was aware that I was made the laughing stock for Asians on American Idol. In my heart, I felt like there were magnetic forces pulling me in different directions. But these forces gradually disappeared when I realized that perhaps I have the power to bring smiles to people's faces. I know I won't please everyone, but perhaps I can relieve people of their daily stress through entertainment. I can bring joy to other people. Lionel talked about the why, what you do, and maybe that's why I do what I do for so long. Now, a lot has happened since my American Idol audition. But looking back at it, it's like a surreal, it's like crazy. I was performing full-time for 4 years, and I was on Jay Leno, Ellen, got a record albums. I didn't even know what happened. I couldn't even explain why. And that's why I said accidental fame. But with that being said, after 4 years, things started to die down for me. I